we could just kick it off if anybody has any questions. I'll probably hold off to masquerade if anybody has direct question about their site.
Well, I had a question I put on the already on, but
Oh, yes.
about the size of the text for the buttons.
Yeah, it does seem to be that the buttons restricts the font size to, I'm not sure of the exact dimensions or whatever it is, but it does seem to, as soon as you put the button on it, even if you had a heading, it takes it down to kind of regular plain text font.
Okay.
So I don't know about the possibility of showing the CSS without being able to manipulate it. I might be able to just get a copy as far as like, this is a Word doc of what our CSS looks like. I'm not sure, since Jan isn't here in the session, I saw her comment on your original question about how this, at least being able to see the CSS would be helpful. But I'm not sure how you could get around it if the CSS does force the button formatting to kind of force the text or the font formatting. I don't know if you can reverse that through the HTML.
Okay. Well, so I have a few questions that are very short. Is there a limit to the number of slides you can have?
There is not.
Okay. And is there a way that you can just display articles, you know, like a page of all your articles?
Yes, that is going to be, if you go to, let's just use Central Orange County area, for example. If you go to your homepage and you tack on the word articles, like if you don't already have that originally in your menu, all you have to do is add onto the homepage URL /articles. And that will take you to your news feed. And depending on, you know, if your league has their own, then it would display under our news and events. And then if you subscribe to any leagues, other leagues articles, then they'll display there.
Great. Okay. And then my people were thinking, I had a meeting with some other members. You know how we have this feature of having all these little icons for the social media so that you can share? Some of them thought that was taking up space. Can you get rid of it, or you always have to have it?
It is going to be on every public page, every one except for a members only page. Does it ever obscure anything?
Well, I think they felt it was pushing something down further than they thought. You know, they're trying to move the content up. You know,
I see. Wanting it to be right at the top of the page. Yeah, it does unfortunately sit there, but the good thing about it pushing things to the side is so that they don't overlap.
Okay, and the last thing I wanted to know is there's an awful lot of white space that seems like you could have content on both the right and left. Look at how much space is taken up in this one with just white space between the left-hand side and the little stars in the menu on the left.
I think that is just part of the Drupal layout that we are using, the version of it. So I don't know how much flexibility we have with that part.
Because you lose a lot of your real estate to those sides. I don't know if anybody else has noticed that they're losing real estate. That maybe if it were further, if there was a setting that made the page a little bit wider. Anyway, so that's something maybe you can ask somebody for. It's not something that like the text size that is urgent for me. But I'm just going to force them to use less text in the buttons.
Try to work around as far as a different rewording.
Yeah. So, okay,
yeah, I'll pick some people's brains about some of those things.
Thank you, Amaris. That's it.
Amaris, I have a quick question. I forgot, I wrote it down someplace, but I couldn't find it. How you are able to pretend to submit a form and see the page without acting?
Yeah, to go, well, I'll just use the straightforward example is that you add on to the end of the URL /done, D-O-N-E.
Done. Okay. I knew it was / something, but I couldn't remember what it was.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, Mary Jo.
So this is another look question. I don't know if you want to go to my front page.
Yeah.
Well, I'll wait till you get there so I can explain it.
Taking a while for me. There we go. Well, I'm sorry, I remember my colors look different, but what was your question?
So my question is there a way, so if you could just go down just a little bit, is there a way to, and maybe go up a little bit, I want to see, yours looks a little different than mine, but
let me go ahead and masquerade. That will help what we're seeing, or I'll
thank
just
you. I
masquerade
appreciate that.
for sure.
Is that because we have the blue and gold or the purple and gold?
Yeah, and for some reason my login only likes the red and blue. So any purple and gold sites, it just says, nope, you're gonna see them in red and blue.
Because it seems to lay out a little differently, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, so yeah, go up a little bit. What I want to show is the difference. Okay, here, this is perfect. I want to be able to distinguish between our summary, under Dearborn Heights and the first article. And I don't know if there's if there's a way to put like a color background, if even that would make sense. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. I think even a line could be as simple and probably make it so that it's not difficult to read. A colored background might make it difficult for some folks. We could do that in just the HTML. So let's just open a new draft, because you also have the option to maybe add a table around it. That might be doing a little too much, putting all of this text within a table so that it's kind of outlined.
Well, I mean, it's not going to change.
Right, it wouldn't change
it might be
where it's displaying. I'll go ahead and show my original idea. It's just about going into the HTML either by disabling rich text like I just did, or you can go through the full HTML and then swap it back after. Sorry, no. Since we're working with HTML, we do have to leave it set to full HTML. Excuse me on that. Being that the tag we're going to add is not within our WYSIWYG options, we have to leave it in full HTML. So it is horizontal line is HR. And remember that it's within the carets, and it doesn't need a tag to pair with it.
Oh.
And I think you can preview it if you click on WYSIWYG. Oh, and then enable rich text. Yeah. So you can see kind of an idea of what that's going to look like, but remember, leave it in full HTML so that it will actually show. And I can save it as a draft since we're working with the body on the home page. And so that's what the simple horizontal line would look like.
Okay. Yeah, it's certainly a lot better.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think, fellow colleagues?
It looks good.
Okay.
Although it looks like it might be one of the HRs between the calendars, events. You see how you have those lines between every event?
Mm-hmm. We could add another or the
double or something.
Mm-hmm. I see what Liz is saying to give it a little more of a difference there or.
The only thing I could think is if it be in color, but
The
I'm happy with,
horizontal line.
yeah, I mean, just make that line that you just made it in color, but you know, I think it's fine. I just wanted to have something.
Mhm.
When
know,
you were looking at the HTML, I
Mhm.
mean, no, I mean the WYSIWYG,
Mhm.
I I had this thing where I couldn't use any of the table things that they weren't highlighted. When you looked at hers, it seemed like it was the same thing. Can we look at it again?
Yeah.
But we have to look at it as WYSIWYG. See how I don't. It
Oh,
looks
it's
like
very
So
faint.
they
It's
they
very
do stay grayed out because you need to start with a table first. So
oh,
once you
okay,
insert the table,
got it. I didn't.
well, and
They're
the
so
insert button.
tiny. I don't think I distinguished that one. Okay, great.
Yeah, once you have it there, then they come alive.
Great. Okay, that's all.
Whoops,
Thanks.
I'm not going to save that.
What's that HTML code for the line?
It is open caret HR close caret.
Are there any other options with that HR? Maybe that could make it.
oh, yeah.
I'm not sure. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, so it does have some attributes, it seems like.
The color.
So I would imagine it would be, let's see, like pull out a notepad and we can play around on my, or if you're okay, Mary Jo, if we can continue playing around with your
Sure.
site. Because
I know you know how to undo it
right.
if we need to.
And I won't put anything in, put it in stone yet. So the HR color would probably start something like this. When we have examples, which is helpful. No, but they don't give us specific examples of the color. So let's see if I can build up one. I do need an example color. Usually the hex number is the easiest to work with. I usually just go with the branding standards because I know that there's a color specification in here. I don't know which color you wanted to go with since I'm already here. Did you want one of the purple or gold colors?
Oh, I see. Well, I don't know, maybe the purple, I don't know. Is it the light purple that matches? Oh, dark purple? Okay.
Well, the light purple complements the dark purple probably is the color that we are using on the site.
Okay.
But however you want to do it, or we could do gold.
No, I'd rather, keep it kind of together.
I was working on the notepad. Okay, so we would plug that in, close the quotation, and let's test that out. So I'm copying this to my clipboard. And let's see if that's the right way to set that up. Okay, so I'm just going to replace the whole thing. Let's see if it does give us an example. No, not with the color. Okay. Let's try saving that. It might be hard to see the color change since it's just the purple. I don't think it took.
Well, you can do width too. Or, I mean, there was that other option of the height or something, the width or what was
The
size?
width, the size.
You could do the size and make it a little thicker.
I think I have the setup incorrect on how to add those attributes on. And I'm not seeing an example. Okay, let's see if we can try a different way, because I think it is not
It's ignoring it.
right. It's there, but I think it's being ignored as far as this portion. Let's try maybe instead, like you said, Liz, the size. That might be a more obvious change, and see if that does something. And that was setting the size in pixels. Let's see if I click on it. Do they give us an example? No. Okay.
Wait, this is.
It's helpful, but only to a point. Okay. So I'm not sure if we need to put the PX. Let's just try 20.
And it may not even want the quotes.
Well, typically, and because sometimes I've seen with the colon, but when you do use the equal sign, there is a quotation.
Why don't you just search on HR size or something like that? Maybe that you can get a little more information.
Let's see.
Oh, it does use the quotes.
So, I'm not sure. It may just be that these are not recognized on MyLO, but usually when you are using the full HTML, you know, the rules, typical rules that apply to our content don't.
Do you have to save it as HTML as opposed to WYSIWYG?
I do believe it's in full HTML. Let me double check. That is. I'm not too sure about this one. And this is talking about the CSS a bit as well. Aha, maybe. We may have, but this is with the CSS. It's worth a shot. I'm just gonna take this one and see if that would
It
take
has
instead.
it had PX in it though. Did you see that?
Yeah, and this time instead, it's the style as the attribute instead of size. Excuse me. And then within that, it's the height, and then the specification. So that one's set up a little bit differently.
Let's see how that does.
So it looks like the horizontal line does not want to be formatted.
But you know what? It looks like that line is lighter than the lines between my articles.
Yeah, it just seems like that is the default look of it. The grayed out kind of look. So yeah, the horizontal line is one option. It's definitely not as flexible. The table, adding a table either like around or maybe under might be another option. Don't know how that might look, but the upside to that is you would have some easier control if you wanted to like add color. So let me show you and we can just play around with it. So I'm just gonna play with adding a table underneath for right now. And I'm just going to simply add one cell essentially. We can set it up first within WYSIWYG. So I could do table row properties or table cell properties since I just have one cell. But what I want to do is go to advanced, and I can choose, if I had the table, you know, going around my text, the border color might be the best way, but I'm thinking to do a background color. I could probably just put the hex number. I think I still have it copied. No. Oops. Okay, we'll just play around with a nice bright red to use as an example. So we add that when it comes to making it as wide as we want, it's probably best to go through the HTML, because you can do this, but typically that doesn't stick when we are trying to save it to see it in the front. So I'm going to swap to full HTML. And it does look like it took the width that I did extend it to, but you can manually change it there. You could even, it might even be better to put 100% since we can use that instead of the PX. Yeah, thanks, Maddie. And then the height, now we can play around with that and make it more like a line, possibly. Let's try 20. And then it'd be easier to change that hex number from here probably. And I'll go ahead and save the example, but we can go back in and put the right hex number. Oh, I have it open still.
I have the hex number for a light blue.
So the height didn't go any smaller, but that's one other example if you wanted to make the line a lot thicker.
Oh, I see. Oh, I thought you were going to put the whole article like in a table or something. Oh, okay.
we could do that too. That's a third
Oh,
option.
yeah.
But I feel like the downside to that, putting the text inside of the table, is that the padding, you know, scrunches the text paragraph down like to a smaller square.
Yeah, I don't know if it's the color, but it's like, I feel like,
we'll definitely
it's
change
like in my
that.
face. Yeah.
Did you want to go with one of the lead colors? Did you want the same dark purple?
Well, I want it to match something. Yeah.
You could also do an image, you know, just make an image that you use as a border. And it'd be a minimal image, but it might not even have the width of the full width. You could choose what you, how, or maybe have star, star, star or something, you know.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and save that.
Did you try to override the height when you made that table?
I did. Maybe I should try a smaller height. I did put 20, and that might still be pretty big.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try 5. Okay. Yeah, it looks to be the same.
Ah,
So at least the width does change. So skinny line, or you know, quite thick line,
Those are
Or
my
an-
options.
or an image.
or an image.
I mean,
Or-
by
or
an
like we
image, I just mean a thin line.
Mhm.
You can make an image that's only 5, you know, pixels high and maybe 20 pixels wide, and you center it, and it's there as it just gives you a little space.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is true. Or like Liz was saying originally, maybe double lines, the skinnier lines, maybe 2 instead of just the 1.
oh, yeah. I feel like that's kind of in my face. I don't know.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what?
I think regardless of the color, it's gonna feel a
Yeah.
little strong.
I give a like an H2 things that says events and something or other. I've forgotten what I put. So it's like a header for that whole new section, but smaller than Dearborn Heights. But it breaks the text from the beginning to the between the beginning and then your lists of events
Right.
or articles.
What is your the domain?
LWVDDH.
But Liz's LWV.
Oh, I apologize. I'm sorry.
No worries.
Wheaton, WHEATO, LWV. Sorry, it starts with LWV.
Okay.
Wheaton, wait, no, you're right, it starts with Wheaton. And it says LWVIL.
Okay. Yeah, I knew there was IL in there. I just didn't know the order. I was rearranging them all.
Evidently, I didn't remember it. There. Well, is
Okay.
that, okay.
Oh,
So,
no, down some more. There we go. This is
so see,
at the bottom.
so I say upcoming events and news as a header, so it breaks it from the whatever I have above it.
So that's an option. Where we added that line, you could add something like that, upcoming events and news, or keep up with our league, or see what we're doing. That's another
Yeah,
option.
Yeah.
It didn't look so good because I had that video in between, but if
No,
you
no,
look-
no, I get the idea. I personally don't. But I'm not sure if I like the purple. It's so
Oh, the
big.
purple looks terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So you were saying that maybe 2 lines of the light one, is that what you said?
Yeah.
No, you can have two HRs.
Yeah, we could just repeat the HR. I'm just going to remove the table from the HTML.
Thank you. Sorry.
No worries. Let's see what that looks like.
Whoa,
That's
Oh,
you
a
can,
better look.
wow.
I don't know. I don't know. I know it's not a big thing, but I don't like it.
You know, one other thing that I had recommended to folks who didn't want to get into the HTML but wanted separation, you can insert symbols on the WYSIWYG side and center them.
Yeah. Oh, that's well. I do that with I've done that. Yeah.
Let's see. Oh,
I use the
Like-
triangles.
Star, star,
yeah,
star. or
yeah.
something.
Oh.
There we go. Insert symbol. Any one of these, and the screen is unfortunately a little small. I think you can zoom in. Yeah.
I can see it now.
So there's some nice symbols here at the end. Got some dots.
Yeah.
We'll try some of these. I'm just gonna
I typically use the triangles. Yeah.
and I don't know,
Do
give
the
it a
whole-
good amount. Yeah, you could. I don't know how many you want to have. We don't want to have it too long since we know
and then
that
they
a lot
put
of
it-
mobile
and then
users.
put it in the middle. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that will give us some kind of separation. You could even space out the little shapes. And then
That
I think
looks-
through the HTML side, you can tweak the color, I believe.
I don't know if anybody's noticed, but the Dearborn, your website has the best slideshow. I showed it to my members. No, really.
Well,
it's
you'll
work-
know now that's good. That worked wonderfully. But the one before it. So what I've learned is when I get, and maybe I could do that all before, but remember I was complaining about the 400 by 800. Sometimes like that one, it's not. But I found that somehow when I can get it at some point where I can right click and resize. And so then I'm just putting 400 by 800. And sometimes it looks, okay. So those ones that looked a little squished.
But don't worry
that's
about
from.
that. But
No,
you,
I think they're fine. Yeah.
you have
That's
really good
awesome.
content.
Mhm.
You have, I mean, all my people say, Yeah, that's great.
Too bad Jennifer's not on because she says you've got too many.
We have
Well-
this recorded. I'll send her the link.
Now, when I attend these calls, I always feel like I'm with the Oscar nominees and, I'm a freelancer still, so.
Yeah, going back to the front page, but that's something that I can change, right? Easily.
Talking about this here.
Yeah, so
Mhm.
tell me, how do I do the draft? How do I forget?
Yeah, if you come, I'm gonna
Oh,
leave it
edit,
as
okay.
a draft.
Edit draft,
Um,
okay.
So you'll
It's
edit
right
the
there.
draft,
Okay,
and then depending on what you wanted to play around
Okay,
with, if
okay.
you're just working with those symbols, you leave it in WYSIWYG, and
Yeah.
it's that one there. And then once you're
Yeah.
happy with it, remember to publish before you save.
right, yeah. Yeah. I'm not thrilled with it, but yeah. But
The good thing
I'll,
is that
yeah.
the public doesn't see it just yet, but you'll be able to see what we left you with.
Well, I thought you published it.
Do you want me to publish that?
Yeah, just leave it, yeah.
I'm gonna
I'm
just
not,
do that
I don't
for
know
the
that I'm gonna leave
moderation.
it, but I'd rather work with something that I can, do without having to go on the outside or worry about HTML.
At least you have, yeah, and at least you have something there for now as a
Yeah.
separation.
Yeah. Thank you.
No problem.
What do other people do? I mean, I know what one person said they have the, wording, but yeah.
Yeah, does anybody else have an idea on, like, if your league is doing something similarly on your front page? Probably not.
The gold might work differently than the red and blue too. I don't know.
If these were the gold color you're thinking?
Well, I was
Or-
just thinking maybe others who don't have the blue or purple and gold, maybe their front page doesn't look the same. I have no idea.
Yeah, it all depends on if they're using, the body section of the homepage, and then
Oh, I
they've
thought that was
promoted
kind of
stuff.
built in. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'm not sure. Okay. Thanks.
Yeah. Did you have any other questions, Mary Jo?
I don't think so. Not today. I
Are
guess
you
I
good?
was, guess I was thinking that we could put some color in the background of the
Those
Dearborn
symbols?
Neighborhood Heights, but no, of the, the League of Women Voters. was
Of this
fine,
one
but-
here? Oh, or
Well,
of
no,
this
in the
section?
body of it, that's why, behind it, like a background color. I'm thinking a Constant Contact where you can put like
I
a
see.
background color.
And so
Yeah.
that's where if we added it inside of a table, we
Oh,
can
that's
do
right.
the
okay,
background color.
Got it.
Got
it.
So you
Yeah.
can't, if you wanted to try that out, that's
Yeah.
certainly something
Yeah.
that's possible.
You can do the highlighting too, right? Doesn't that have that color behind it?
I'm not sure the highlighting, I don't think that's an option, or which are you referring to? Maddie?
Oh, I know what she's talking about. You mean, like we do with events and stuff and articles. Huh.
Yeah,
Oh, highlight, yes. I'm thinking,
Yeah.
I was thinking the text itself. But yeah, if you wanted to
Oh,
so you
have
can
this
select the
stand
text
out,
and
well,
then.
no, you're not, we don't want to.
or is Maddie, are you talking about something else?
Well, I'm talking about, because I did this on our site recently, where I selected some of the text and then in the,
Check one of the beginnings just to make sure.
Right,
Well,
exactly.
what in there?
I think it says highlight.
Who's your plan?
Can I ask you to mute your microphone, please?
I'm sorry. I
No
thought
worries. No worries, you're totally fine. So there's a text highlight function?
Yeah, you showed that to me,
Let me see
to
that.
us. So if you select some there where it says style,
Ah, yes, the notice.
oh,
So that,
notice, that's what it is.
Oh,
Yeah,
but that is an option. The only thing is when it comes to paragraphs,
Makes multiple ones.
yeah. And so it would require to have to
Oh.
tweak the HTML.
no, you don't have to, because you can just take the line feeds, the paragraph mark,
Uh-huh.
and just change them to a line feed, instead of
Ah,
DIV.
okay.
use shift
Like
enter,
Like the
and then
break.
puts it all in one box.
So we'll okay. So we'll take that up, and instead of just enter, we're gonna do shift enter. And we
Right.
can do it one more time to
Exactly.
mimic. Okay, awesome. Thank you, Maddie. So this is an option because this is built-in formatting from MyLO. So we don't have to mess with the WYSIWYG. I'm gonna save it as a draft so we can see what that looks like. And I do believe this is an example of the yellow that it's gonna use.
Oh. Okay.
Wow, that's darker than I thought it was on mine.
The red and blue is a lighter
Oh,
shade.
okay. Yeah, because mine was red and blue, or mine is a red and blue.
Yeah, I think, again, this is one, if you did want to tweak the color, I think it can be done in HTML.
Right.
But we're trying to find, you know.
Yeah, I
this
thought it was just gonna
people.
outline it like it does articles where it literally have lines around the, but yeah, we can't do that. Okay.
Yeah, well, why don't let's try the table and just see what the border, what we can do with the border. Okay, so let me go ahead and just add the table in first. Add it here. Again, with just one of each, since I just want one single cell. And we're gonna put this inside of there. Cut and paste. Okay, and then the last step will be, I think it is it cell properties? Yes. We only have one cell. Go to advanced and we can choose the border color. Let's see about that gold. Okay. I think if I just plug it in and hit enter, yes, it will take. The only thing now, since we've changed the color, we do have to change it to WYSIWYG. And then let's check out the draft.
Oh,
Oh, and I think, let's see, I think the text formatting is a little bit smaller than usual.
uh-huh.
So let's see if we can do something about that.
Is that maybe just okay?
We can leave it like that. I am a little curious. Okay, so if we put paragraph, it seems to bring it back to its regular size.
Okay.
But it depends on what you want
Well,
it to be.
let's look at it.
You want me to save it as a bigger
Yeah,
font to
just
see what it looks like?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh no. Okay.
Heck, darn it.
What happened?
I think since I used did I use the eraser?
What if you undo what you undo?
Let's see. Oh no, did I save it as WYSIWYG? That was the difference, I think. There we go. I gotta save it as full HTML. I think that I did not do that. There we go. So now it's the same size as this text down here.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Oh, I like it. Thank you. I think that's perfect. Yeah.
I love how we started off thinking that we had really only one option. And then here we came up with what, about 5 different ways to go about it. So
So this is a table.
this is a table. Yep.
Okay.
And when you click insert edit table, you just put one row, one cell, and then cut and paste your stuff into it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You can
And the
put-
color, does it pretty much match the goal?
It's exact. I went to the
Okay.
brand standards.
Oh, that's right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Mhm.
And can you
Oh,
put a
yeah.
background color in the table as well?
Yeah, you can.
So if you wanted to have a colored background, you could have more control.
Mhm.
Oh,
And it's the same controls or the same like buttons that you go to edit the border color. So you just make sure your cursor is anywhere inside that table. Go to table cell properties and go to advanced.
oh,
And it's the background color, border color. You could even put a background image, which I would recommend uploading it to MyLO. Then you can put the URL of the file. It should end in .jpeg or .png, whatever the file ending is. But yeah, if you make any additions or changes there, just always swap it from WYSIWYG to full HTML before saving.
okay.
But I can go ahead and publish that if you like that table.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's fine. Yeah. Cause I just want to have some separation. Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Thank you very
Mhm.
much.
Any other questions?
I have a question. When you make an image a quarter the size of the one you've uploaded, what does MyLO do? Does it make an image like that and put it in some other spot where the path is to that spot?
It is just focusing on the display of where you're trying to drop it into in that specific instance. So those are the display as options. You can show it as, I think, full content, original, quarter size being that it's going to try to be about 25% of itself. And then I think thumbnail being an even smaller version. It won't duplicate the image in our library, but it is just focusing on, now that you've uploaded that file, now that you're trying to put it, where in the slideshow or on a event, wherever you are editing at that moment, it's just asking how would you like it to display as.
Oh, I got this incredibly long path when I looked at the HTML. And when you put in an image, all the stuff all I want is image source equals, and I get this long thing where it's giving, all the different text attributes and
Yeah, because it is the way that the media browser is working to pull that file out of the media library. So it is just a different kind of translation, but it is essentially the same thing. If you were worried about the character count, or you just wanted to see the simple, image equals source, the straightforward HTML tag of it, then you could click on your image and click on the little eraser icon. That would simplify your link. It's not, I don't see an advantage in it. And the number one disadvantage for me is that then that image's use is no longer tracked in
That's
our
good.
library.
Mhm.
So there's two sides to that coin. Definitely is possible. And I don't know if anybody wants to see an example of it. I can show that off.
Oh, sorry.
So I have a question about my experience with using that quarter size image
Mhm.
is that when it puts it in there, it makes it a link. And what it links to is the the page in MyLO about that image.
Yeah, that sometimes
don't
that happens
To
and
be able
sometimes,
to get rid of that.
yeah, I
What
had
had to
that.
do was delete it and then just put it in full size and shrink it down using the handles. And then I could put the link on there that I wanted on there, or no link at all. But yeah, so I was just wondering if other people
Okay.
had that experience.
I've had that experience, but it's not consistent. I just, you kind of hit your head against the
Yeah.
wall.
It's like, how do I change this?
Okay, no, yeah, I will definitely raise that because the fact that it overtakes, if you do add a link and it's just not allowing you to, it's a little too much. Yeah, I will definitely make a ticket for our team on that.
But why
Um,
is that? I don't understand why sometimes it happens and other times I must do something differently, but I certainly can't figure it out.
No, sometimes it is not us, and sometimes it is the system. So I think in this regard, I don't think it's something user error.
Yeah, and I'm thinking that it doesn't make sense in any case. I mean, why would you ever want the user of your website to go to the page within MyLO that describes the image?
Right.
You
No,
know,
I
you
think
never
that
want
yeah, I don't think that was an intended addition. I think that might be a bug or something that, yeah, I'm not sure where it's come from.
It
But I
sounds
will
like an
raise that.
accessibility thing.
What was that?
It sounds like an accessibility thing when you said it goes to a page where it describes what it is.
No, it's not
No?
that.
Okay, okay.
It's the page in MyLO telling you when it was uploaded and,
Oh,
Mhm. Yeah,
It's
so
about-
usually we don't want the public to be
No.
going there. So
of course.
yeah, I definitely need to look into that with the team. So thank you. I think I was going to show an example of the image. I think we're fine. We talked about if you do add in an image and then you use our little remove formatting, that will simplify your link, but then it detaches the kind of like tracking code on that image to our media library and showing you where and how many times that thing was used.
But you mentioned the eraser thing.
Mhm.
Can you just kind of describe again? I know you've shown us so many times, but sometimes when there's extra lines in there and it's not working, I try to use it, but I don't actually. Sometimes I'll just type a few lines and then I'll highlight it and then I'll put the eraser, but I don't really know
If it's doing
how I'm supposed to do it. Yeah.
there are often times where if you use the eraser, like let's say I'm highlighting almost this entire thing. If I use the eraser, it's doing nothing, right?
Okay.
It's because I need to highlight the entire thing from start to finish, because the start to finish usually includes, it's kind of, I guess,
Like
you
if
look
I
at it
had
from the
typed
H-
something wrong and then backspace and then went forward.
yeah, it might be
Yeah.
easier to see it from the HTML side, since let me use the draw here. We know that this is the start of the notice box, and then we have a closing P right here. So this was the same thing that we were kind of seeing. I had highlighted only what was inside. So because I didn't highlight the entire start to finish, I was only highlighting the text within. And so when I use the eraser button, I'm not actually erasing the notice formatting. I'm just trying to erase any formatting that's applied to the text, but there is none at this point. So let me go back to the WYSIWYG side. So again, if I am just highlighting a portion of it, there's no difference. I need to make sure that I'm highlighting from start to finish, because the notice box is covering from start to finish. Then when I use the eraser and I've highlighted that from start to finish, then it does work. Sometimes let's see, I'm going to add a table. we sometimes see that a table won't go away. If I highlight it, oh, actually that did go away much easier than I thought. Let's see. No, don't highlight. I don't know why I won't unhighlight. Come on. So if I try to just delete one cell, no. So again, this is an example of having to highlight the entire thing to delete it. That is typically what happens. I'm trying to think of another example where it might be a little more difficult. Sometimes adding formatting on top of existing formatting can make it a little harder for the remove formatting eraser to work.
Well, sometimes for me, I'm thinking it's like there's lines. It's not text, it's spaces. You know, like maybe, I don't know, you know, won't let me delete, so I can, you know, I don't know. I just fool around and sometimes it works.
Do you copy and paste from other places?
Yes, yes.
Where is it that you're usually copying from?
Well,
Or is it different?
Well, the last thing I did, it's not always the same, but like I did a thing from the National League on the new legal site on the website. So I created an article, and then I put everything else, you know, on the read more.
I see. Okay.
I'm not saying that was an issue, but that's an example of copying and pasting.
Okay. I'm trying to think of, because sometimes if trying to highlight just that section, that's giving you trouble to delete it is not working. Sometimes you have to highlight that whole thing and beyond it. So you might have to, let's say if this button here was giving me trouble, I'm not only highlighting the button itself, but I'm also going to delete the line before it.
See, that's what I remember you talking about.
Yeah, because that is the easiest way to do it without having to jump into the HTML side.
Because I can remember sometimes seeing not blue, but like a red line and saying, wait a minute, that shouldn't be red, and knowing that that's a formatting thing, but how do I?
Wanting to change it there.
But well, get rid of it so I could just start typing normal stuff. And yeah. So I'm assuming that is one of the cases where you would use the eraser when for some reason it's red. And you can get rid of it.
Yeah, you can use the eraser. The eraser will help you clean up what's there without getting rid of it.
Yeah.
It will clean up everything except for, removing the links that you have tied.
So how did you get rid of that red? Was that highlighted and you clicked
this one, since it was in the button style, or the red is just because it's linked.
That was red before.
This one?
No, up above it, you had a red, like you were going to start typing, but it was in red. Yeah, right there. But that was red. So you had to have done something to get rid of that.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it just, but yeah.
It might have been because my cursor was next to the link.
Maybe. I don't know. Yeah, maybe. That could be.
But yeah, depending on if you're trying to keep the text but clean it up, use that remove formatting eraser. But if you just want to
get what do you do? Do you highlight what you want to get rid of and then click the eraser?
Yeah, and that's just going to clean it up. It's not going to delete that text though.
Yeah.
So if you wanted it deleted, just delete it with your keyboard.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. And my experience has been when I'm moving things around within a text box, especially if some of it's headings and some of it's paragraph, it gets all messed up, and it kind of looks like I want it to until I save it, and then it looks
yeah. Yeah.
So then what I do is I just use that eraser to get rid of all the formatting and reformat everything, so that the heading,
starting with a clean slate,
paragraph is the paragraph and all of that. That's my most frequent use of that eraser.
Yeah, I I feel that. MyLO, I feel like, is notorious for remembering its settings and the formatting. So it is definitely helpful and convenient. But in those cases when you're really trying to rearrange things, that eraser is
You
very
probably
handy.
end up with like leftover tags in places where they shouldn't be.
Very true. And yeah, and
That you
sometimes,
can't see in WYSIWYG.
right, exactly. Sometimes we don't see it until the save. So yeah, that eraser can be your best friend sometimes.
This is going to be an ignorant question. So you just said something that reminded me.
Mhm.
So sometimes, I'll start working on something and then I don't know, maybe somebody comes over or something and then, or I'm looking at something to get something from another website or something. And, I'll go away from the MyLO page or maybe anyway, somehow I'm away from it. And
Mhm.
then when I go back to it, it hasn't saved anything. And I don't know, is there a way you can work on it and then just kind of make sure it doesn't go away? I guess.
Are the changes going, like
The
you save
changes,
them and they're gone?
I'm in the middle of it, but I don't want to,
Oh, I see.
I guess I could save it and just not publish it. Is that what I should be doing?
Yes, yeah, that happened to
Okay.
me as well.
Yeah.
I sit with changes and it's just a bad habit that the system is like forcing us to try and break.
Yeah, that's all I have to do. Just say, I
Yeah.
guess when I think of save, I think of, being published, but of course it's not until I click publish.
Right, yep.
Okay,
The
thank you.
draft is just for us, yeah.
Yeah.
I did it yesterday to myself and I thought, man, I wrote some good stuff.
Oh, I know. And years ago on my other computer, I could see where I'd been before, all my different, well, I could just see and say, oh, that's probably where I was. And, it'd take me back to that URL or wherever I was. And I can't do that anymore. Anyway.
You can't go through Windows or something?
Oh, I probably could, but it's not worth it. I mean, it was just automatic. It would just give me I'd say, give me my last, I don't know, 30, websites and it would just give me everything. And I just click it. Oh, that's probably where I was, That's
Well,
it.
where, oh, okay.
It
What,
doesn't-
what browser do you use?
Chrome and also the other one too.
Edge.
But I don't use, I save Chrome for other stuff and use, what is it, Explorer, not the new Explorer, what do you call it?
The Microsoft Edge.
Oh, yeah, Edge, yeah.
But Liz, are you saying, is there a way in some browsers to look back at like your
Yeah,
activity?
yeah, I think you probably have it.
I probably
But
do.
that's different than when you go through your history.
Yeah,
That's sort of, I think that's more like sort of it's not like going back to a window, because if you see your windows that you have open, at least in Safari, you can choose which window you want. You may have I usually have a lot going.
yeah, me too.
And so I can go back to it and it should stay in the same state you left it. It usually
But-
does for me.
No,
Oh
it
no,
does.
for
Yes,
as far as MyLO, if you just
Right.
leave a draft open, it does reload the form.
No, it doesn't do that for me because I often have to go look at something someplace else to decide what I want to add to the text that I'm writing. I don't have that.
You don't
It
worry
is
about
only
saving.
after some
Depends on how
time,
long you're gone.
right? Yeah, it's
Oh,
after
I don't-
some probably hours at least,
Oh,
maybe an
well,
hour or
that-
two.
Oh, that's a different matter.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying I think it's more on us at that point.
Yeah.
But I think we get that.
Good. Since we talked about this issue with images,
Mhm.
could we add an image and maybe make it quarter size and then come back and look at it and see if when we click on it, it goes to the thing that Maddie finds unpleasant? I mean, you don't want it. You sure don't want to link to that. Can we just do one to see, or is
Or
there
to
no
see an example.
Yeah, to see, is that a consistent behavior or is there something that we're doing that makes it want to make it a link out of that?
No, there's nothing that you're doing different because there's no additional options really that we can add. I mean, I guess, yes, there's these three, but link image, we did not enable that since we have a better way to do it in WYSIWYG. But it is the display as quarter size that seems to be
Oh, what are the
that
other
alone.
options? What are the other options?
So original size, full content, and WYSIWYG are all the full size of the original image.
Okay.
Quarter size, thumbnail, and then linked. I haven't tried. It probably does what quarter size is unfortunately doing, but
And quarter, what's the difference between thumbnail and quarter size in terms of size?
let's show, I'll show both. I'm going to show first the quarter size, and then we'll come back in and show thumbnail. I probably should have shown what the picture originally looked like, but that's fine. We can
Looks like
see.
that was.
a
some-
Now
quarter
see, it's a
size.
link. There it is, a link.
Yeah, so I'm definitely
That's
reporting
bad.
that one to figure out what's going on there.
So if we had said full size, would that not have happened?
Right.
Ah, so I ended up just making my own quarter size and using that. because
Using
I-
it, yeah, or
Shrink-
making it yourself like manually and then knowing the dimensions
Yes.
and applying it around.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's nice to, at least for Maddie and me to know that it, we
I
aren't,
just never use it.
yeah,
Yeah, I can report that to the group as far as it being under investigation. So we know at least we know a better way to go about it. So it looks like thumbnail, at least for this picture, is the exact same size. Yeah, so I don't know, you could play around with it. I think the bigger the image it is originally, then quarter size and thumbnail are going to be different. But I think my image is not that large. Let's see what it looks like in full content.
once you choose a size, you can redo it. Is that what you're doing? Okay.
Yeah, you can resize it. I just wanted to see how large it is. So that's my
So what did you
original
do?
size.
What
I
did
just,
you do?
I came back to click on the media browser and I changed the display as to original size from, I think we were in thumbnail.
You just double clicked on the image to do that?
I just clicked it once and it highlights.
Once. Ah, oh, nice.
Or even, yeah, even if you double click is no issues, the same thing. But as long as you have the image selected, then when you click on the media browser, it opens up this page again, the embedding page.
Okay, that's good, because I always delete it and re-add it.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
if you're just
Yeah.
trying to worry about the display as options, then save yourself the trouble. I think as far as thumbnail and quarter size, they look pretty identical to me. So you might try changing them to thumbnail and seeing what that looks like for your images. If you are in need of changing them from quarter size, because then that will prevent the need to resize manually if you can get away with thumbnail.
Yeah, from a logical point of view, it would make sense that quarter size would depend on the size of the original, and thumbnail would be like a consistent size.
Right. And I think that's probably what it is there. Yeah.
So that page that you just showed, where you could choose the different sizes.
Mhm.
I don't think I see that very often, but
Mhm.
I know that, and I was able to do it, but not exactly sure how he did it. But I added a document to the library.
Mhm.
And somehow I got on a page where it did give me the option, I think, to choose document.
Oh.
And is that true?
There is, I think, as far as the upload,
Yeah.
once you get past, let's
The
see
choose
if I-
file, and then it'll give me, it knows that it's a document, and then that's why it starts giving me these questions, maybe, I don't know.
Right. It does identify the file type.
Oh, there you
And
go.
then once
Yeah,
you get
yeah.
past the destination, these are the set of questions where, yep, it asks you that you're uploading this document and if you have permission.
Right,
Um,
right, yeah. But it
and
looks, no, see, that's not what,
is
I-
this
it
different?
looked different to me. It was more like, well, I can't
Let's
remember
see,
now.
if I save it, I don't believe I get a next page. Oops, I didn't save a media tab.
Yeah. Huh.
Oh, this one here.
Yeah, that looks more like it. Yeah.
So I
Oh,
forgot
but
that the
that's
documents get
not
the
it.
same thing, but
But
I'm
it's,
not
it's
sure.
kind of that look, but somehow document, I think, was an option somewhere.
Oh, in the search.
I
If
don't know.
you're here in the media browser, instead of upload, if you're looking in My Leagues files, My Files, or All Files, you can choose document as a type.
Well, I realize that, but somehow I have to have indicated that it was a document. So that's
The
what I'm saying.
system recognizes the file
Oh,
type.
okay. 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 Maybe I'm thinking of something else. Maybe I'm thinking of Constant Contact.
Oh, and I wanted to say, I'll probably say it again in the next session. I was able to talk with the team about the duplicated images that we had noticed a couple sessions back, and they figured out what was going on, and so they've given me some homework. So I'm in the middle of doing my homework to try and help that problem. I'm deleting different revisions, and that should hopefully bring down the number of copies that we see of those same images.
What? Oh, you mean in the, oh, the one, yeah, we were talking about how some, yeah, okay.
There was some keyword that we had looked up,
Yeah.
and I noticed that there were several pages of that
Yeah.
same image. So
Oh, was it on those things about voting and how old or your name change or something? Was it
The
those?
sides.
no, it was
Oh.
different images. There's I don't
Oh.
remember what they're called now,
Well,
as
but
far as
I
their
think,
titles,
but you
but
sent something out. I think, and saying, you know, here's some images, we've added them to the media library, and there were a whole bunch of them. Is that what you're talking about?
no, this is
No.
different.
All
Yeah.
right. Okay.
I remember it came up, we were helping Ingy of Hudson Ohio, post an article onto her site, and we were looking for a picture. I think it was it education? Yeah, so we saw a lot of different pages.
Oh.
And so now, since I've done some deletions, we can see that's gone down quite a bit. I still need to finish, but that is hopefully going to clean up our media browser here, so that when you're searching for stuff, you're not like wading through pages and pages and pages trying
And
to
you
find something
can't-
different.
And you can't just, because it's a common library, I can't just go in there and like right click and it'll give me a chance to delete it. You have to.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, you could technically go into open this, file from manage files and then edit the file and delete it yourself individually. But since we know what the solution is, I can make it easier work to just do it from the revisions.
So you're saying even though I wasn't the one to put it in the media library, I could theoretically get rid of it?
Correct.
Okay.
Being that we share the content as we do, we aren't able to restrict that,
Okay.
that permission. All right, folks, unless there's one more burning question. All righty.
See you in 2 weeks or?
Yes. Thank you for coming for this. What felt like an impromptu one for me. I swear I'll be better for the next one and remember.
Well, but yeah, but when we go through all these iterations, you see all different ways to do things. It's very helpful because there are things you haven't considered as an option.
Yeah, no, I love when we can collaborate and just kind of go deeper on someone's question when we thought it was going to be something, real simple to answer. But like you said, we get to see what everybody is doing on it.
Right. Okay,
Thank you.
Always
Thanks a
helpful.
lot.
All right, folks, we'll
everybody.
see you in 2 weeks.
thanks, everyone.